The oldest street in Manhattan is Broadway. That was an Indian trail. So all of Manhattan, in a way, has this kind of, let's say, spine, the ancient spine of Broadway. And then the grid came in 1811, et cetera, et cetera. So the end of that spine, the end of that line, that oldest road, is a bridge. And that was the first bridge into Manhattan. And then the Broadway Bridge was built, and that's those big heads of the Broadway lift bridge were, in a way, inspirations for this sort of shape, the sort of gray, steel, structural shape that we finally arrive at in the building itself. When we were given this project, Lee Bollinger told us that he wanted to present it at homecoming. And so we had a concept, the early concept sketch, which was based on a football diagram. You know, points on the ground and lines in space. So those point foundations of the building, you know, where it becomes a gateway, and then the idea of the outer exits as kind of lines in space moving on the building.
All of these conditions are influential in the design. And the building is organized in 3 levels. And this has to do with the aim of the scholar-athlete, that you develop both the body and the mind together. The base of the building, the lower 2 levels, is the body. And that's the big strength and conditioning room, the workout room, a double-height space. And you see it's at the same level as the subway and the fields. And then the mind, which is the top of the building, where there's the student-athlete study center and the conference center and the event space. Then we also have the mind-body, which is the student-athlete theater, where they review plays, and it's all about strategizing movement of the body, the mind and the body together. So instead of a dialectic of mind and body, we have the mind, body, and the mind-body, all organizing this building. The building is made of a steel frame and concrete plank, and the structure really defines the space. So everything is exposed, and you really get the sense of the loads and the forces in the building, which is, of course, fitting for an athletic structure, but also we like because it's a way to kind of express how the forces become material and detail. So everything comes to one point in space, and it's how all those forces are resolved that becomes a kind of ready-made sculpture in a way. Very economical, we're just using the steel frame, but it has an intensity and an integrity. To get that kind of detail is not easy these days, so we're very excited throughout the building, you feel that. It's a very dynamic building. There's all the interior stairs are open for maximum flow, and no one's taking the elevator because the stairs lead you up and move through, and especially in a university building, kind of circulation spaces are where students interact with each other, with teachers, and this kind of flow is especially important for an athletic facility where you can go straight from the student-athlete theater right outside of the terrace, outside the exterior stairs down to the field. So it's a building really about movement and the choreography of movement inside and outside in the city.
One of the things about athletic fields at night in a city, you always get this kind of pocket of space that's glowing in a city at night. Those are the athletic fields. And when you fly over a city at night, you see these kind of strange lights that are lighting these ball fields. So our building, in a way, becomes this little gateway, this chunk of architecture that equally gives the feeling of light and brightness at night, because the way we've lit it, you see those lines in space, the stairways with a kind of markings of light, and you get this feeling that it is a gateway. We've underlit the porch, this blue soffit, and so the building has a kind of life that gives to that site at night. We used to say architecture can change the way you live, but let's not be so ambitious. Let's say it gives you a different viewpoint, and I think this building gives that place, gives anybody that occupies it a different viewpoint, and that does change something. That does change something. That is something very positive. That is a positive contribution. So I see it as a kind of gift to that corner in the city that it allows a different viewpoint.
Son of a gun.
Too much on it.
boys. Nah, it's all right.
Oh, that was beautiful though. Taking a nice